Good morning, everyone. I'm Marg from Creative Stamping with Marg, here to do another card with you. I have lots of Stampin' Up! News on my desk and a new card kit to go for September to share with you. So let's go down to my desk. All right, down we go here. You can see I have the paper pumpkin flyer. This is the last day to subscribe for Fall for Twall paper pumpkin kit. It is an autumn based kit. You will get to make 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs. They have coordinating envelopes, which you can see in the flyer up in the corner here. And it coordinates with the Autumn Twall Suite collection that's in the mini catalog. So if you haven't seen the mini catalog, they are here. And if you do not have a demonstrator in Canada and you would like a catalog, please get a hold of me. Either my email is mrgorn@shaw.ca or my website, margaretgorn@stampinup.net. That is the new catalog. Lots of beautiful things in it. All right, so there's the kit, and these are the add-on dies that have gone with July, August, and September. They're called the Circle of Seasons dies. You can only get these dies if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So the number is 167277, and they are $16.50. All right, and after today, there will be 3 new kits introduced and new dies to go with them. So that'll be the next week. I'll be able to show that to you. All right. I also have this flyer on my desk in case someone doesn't know all this news that Stampin' Up! Came up with recently. They are discontinuing the Stampin' Right markers. And as far as I know, they are still available on the last chance list. They are discontinuing the red rubber cling stamps and will be going totally photopolymer. So that will be phasing in the fall. So there are still stamp sets in the annual catalog and in the mini catalog that have red rubber. So those are available while supplies last. They are also changing the packaging. So the packaging for stamps and the dies will be in envelopes similar, not the same, but similar to what we get our dies in now. So they'll be nice and flat like that. And you can see in the flyer, they're showing how they're putting them on a shelf. So that's stamps and dies right there. Okay, so that's something new, and that will be phasing in also in the fall. All right, so if you have any questions about that, please contact me and I can give you more information on those things. All right, today's card. I called it a flip flap card, but I've also seen it called a hinged front flap card. So I will explain it all to you as we go along. Today I am using Bubble Bath, and I just realized, if you noticed, my shirt at the beginning is kind of a bubble bath color, and I didn't even realize I was wearing that today and choosing this color to make our card out of. All right, so our card base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 2 1/4 and 5 1/2. So it's going to close like our regular card that stands like this, but this flap is going to go back. So that's the way it's going to be folded, so you can see that. And I do have my bone folder here because you really want this little fold to be creased really, really well. So I'm going to do it that way, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do it that way to burnish it really well. Okay, so that's our card base. You also need another piece of the same color of cardstock that is 4 1/2 by 3. Okay, you're going to need some designer series paper, 2 pieces, the same. I'm using the same, and this is 3 by 4, and this comes from the celebratory Sips paper, which is kind of funny because it doesn't look like that paper. This is that paper that has all the summer drinks on it, but there was 2 floral papers in this, and I've chosen this one today. I've chosen a piece of 2-tone cardstock. So this is the Blackberry Bliss. So the dark on one side, the lighter on this side. And I've run it through the mini corrugated embossing folder. That's this folder. And this piece, this piece is 2 7/8 by 4 3/8. So it's going to fit on top of here. So it's just going to show just that little bit of pink on the edges. Okay. And you need a greeting, and I have used, and you need a white piece for the inside. So I've used my textured notes dies, the largest one, and I've cut myself a white inside. Now I've already stamped mine, and I am using the Cheers and Sips stamp set today. So there's the word cheers on there. So that is going on the inside. And I've also used this from the textured notes dies, this long skinny one for my greeting, but I only needed just a small piece. So I've actually cut it out, and then I cut it in half because you only need just half of it. And I've stamped really close to the right-hand side stitching because there's no stitching on this end, but we're going to hide that. Okay, so we'll put those away. And I have some fussy cut pieces for the front, 3 glasses, and then a kind of a half glass that came off the side of the paper that I'm going to use on the inside. All right, let's get started putting this together. What I want to do first is you will need your paper trimmer. I'll move this over because this piece, make sure you can see this. This piece, we need to trim this little flap a little bit. So what I'm going to do is open the card, and I'm going to put it in my paper trimmer at the 1 inch over on this side, line it up to the 1 inch side, and I'm going to cut to that first 2 1/4 score line. So using my cutting blade, I'm coming down and I'm cutting right to that 2 1/4 score line, just like that. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So line it up at the 1 inch and cut down to the 2 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to just take my snips. You could use your paper trimmer, but I'm just going to take my snips, and I'm just going to cut that piece, those 2 pieces, right out of there because we don't need them. Okay, and it leaves you just with this little flap, just with that little flap. So it's going to look like this now. So it's just got a little flap here. All right, get rid of our paper trimmer and those little extra pieces of paper. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is put the inside in. So if you are stamping, please do that now. And I had placed this just like this so I could see where I wanted to stamp my words. I just wanted to make sure that it worked out all right. And you can see how this half glass just goes to the edge here, and it just makes it interesting on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue on that. And I can glue it right to the inside now that I've stamped and everything is okay. I haven't used this glue yet this morning, so we'll get that going. Perfect. And I'm just going to glue it just to the very edge here by the design. Just like that. And it just fits perfectly. Now, if you haven't seen this paper, there's a sheet that has all the leaves and garnishes and cherries and strawberries and all kinds of things. Well, I cut this glass out of my paper, and it was on the edge, but it didn't have a garnish on it. So I cut this leaf out and just glued it on top. So you can do lots of things with this paper. So I'm going to glue this in because this is going to guide me when I go to put that flap on, that I have it in the right place. So I'm going to just glue this in, and I'm centering it top to bottom and side to side as best as I can. That looks good. Whoops. There we go. And then when this is closed, you're not going to see those words when this is closed, but now I've got a bit of a guide here. So we'll set that to the side now. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat to do the rest of this gluing because I don't want to make a mess here. Now, we can do these designer series papers now. One goes here and one goes here. This is directional, as you can see, so you'll want to make sure you've got your flowers going the right way. And this is Old Olive on the back here. So that's pretty, pretty paper. So Bubble Bath, Petunia Pop, Blackberry Bliss, Old Olive, and Mossy Meadow in this paper. So really, really pretty. And I did the inside also just to make it, you don't have to, but I thought it really, really looks nice when you open your card that you see this on the inside also. So again, I'm just centering it. Make it even there. Isn't that pretty on the inside? And then the card's going to close like that. Now, that flap that we're going to put together goes like this. I could choose either the dark Blackberry Bliss or the lighter shade, and I decided to choose the lighter shade, and I'll show you why. I'll put the dark shade on and I'll show you what it looks like. I didn't like it as much on here. It's just too much of a contrast, I thought, with my paper, so I really liked the other side. Just tones it down a little bit. So I can go ahead and put these two together. And being that this is that corrugated, it is very bumpy. So you're going to need a fair amount of glue to make sure that it sticks, but it will stick. And again, I'm just going to center this as best I can on here. And it's always interesting when you use an embossing folder because it, especially this one, it sort of shrinks the size a bit of your paper because of the corrugation. Okay, so let that dry a little bit. We are going to put these 3 glasses on. And again, these glasses were all cut out of the designer series paper, and these embellishments I glued on after that one. This glass came this way, and this glass came this way. All right, and then we have our greeting. So I always like to take a pencil and sort of round my glasses, make them a little more interesting, and I'm going to put them up on dimensionals, but I just like to make them a little more interesting. So I will just round them a little bit, and I like to use my pencil works really good. That wasn't very smooth, but like that. And I'm going to put one flat down and then the other 2 popped up. So I just want to sort of play with it a little bit before I do much more rounding. I think I'm going to put this glass here, this one here. And it doesn't matter if it sticks off because we've got lots of room in the other. And I'm thinking maybe, do I want this one to be flat down like that? And this one to maybe be on top. Just a minute. And I just want to plan my greeting. I want to make sure I can get my greeting on there. So it's your day, and I'm just going to tuck it under there like that. So that looks good. I'm going to do something to it right now. I'm going to put a mini dimensional on the end, on the very end of here. I'm putting a mini dimensional, but I'm going to glue this down. So this is just going to stand up a little bit. It looks just a little different. So I'm going to have a little glue on the end here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I can get my glue to work. Come on. Need a new bottle of glue, obviously. Okay, I'm just going to sit it there. It'll be fine. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on these 2. I haven't rounded this one yet. And just make this a little more interesting. There. And then this one's going to lie flat down, so I don't need to round it with my pencil. And I'll just get some glue on it. And I just wanted to see how I had this. I had this kind of like that, I think. And I'll put that one down, but I kind of wanted this to be tucked like that. So that, I don't want that one to be glued down. Okay, I'm going to put some dimensionals on these. And then we'll attach this flap to our card, and you can see I even want to put a dimensional up on this. I just want to see that I'm not, sorry, just right at the bottom here should be good. You can use a mini too if you think it needs it. And then this one, a couple of dimensionals on this one. And I think I can probably put a mini on my, or you can cut them. Of course, you can cut your dimensionals. I can maybe put a mini on here. I just want to see about the middle of this. And then it won't go off my page. I think it's okay. Yeah, that doesn't show. All right, I'm going to peel all these and get this put together. So there is 2 sheets in this package of paper that have these great glasses on them. Now I also want to see that I can get this underneath here. Like that. Did I peel that off? Of course not. Peel the paper off of there and get that on there. It's your day. All right. And then this one. So there's lots of choices, and I'll show you. I did make another card out of the same paper, but different colors, and it turned out really good. So there's our flap, and then we're going to put this on here. And this, you can put it anywhere you like. It's just going to be glued to this little flap here, but I liked it just like that, top and bottom of the white. And this is why I put my white piece in first, so I could sort of center it there. So the only place you're going to have glue is on this flap. All right. And that will glue right to our piece there. So again, I'm going to close this like that, and I'm going to put this on here, top to bottom, as best I can, and just gently lay it down. And look at my edge here. You can't go over the edge, but you can go right up to that edge. And I like the look of that because you see a lot of that paper. If you put it further over this way, you're losing all this pretty paper. So there's our front, and it opens like this, and you can look at the inside. Isn't that pretty? And it stands really nicely, and it has this hinged effect, I guess. That's where that came from. All right, so that's our card. Very simple, but just a really interesting layout, I thought. And a neat fold, a really neat fold. I did bring in some embellishments. These are the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink, but I thought the pink went with this. You could use the Strawberry Slush if you wanted, or this is the Pretty in Pink. I did use the Pretty in Pink on the other ones, so I think I will do the same for this one. So I just chose a large one, and maybe I'll put it here, and 2 small ones. They come in 2 sizes. So 1 there, and 1 there. There we go. There's our card. So it's your day, and cheers. Very pretty. You could use Wink of Stella on your glasses if you wanted. That would be pretty. And these are standing up. I just am looking to see that I can't see my my dimensionals on the other side. That's important. You can mix and match these glasses. There were so many great pieces that you could cut out of. So that's my card for today. And I will show you another one I made. Oh, and I did do the envelope for this one. So I used the same paper for the flap. And remember, it's directional, so you want to put it on the right way. You could also stamp something on the front from the stamp set if you wanted. There's leaves, or the purple, which I think is lavender. That's this piece here. You could do a glass on there if you wanted, ice cubes, whatever. So there's the envelope for that one. So pretty. This is another one I made. This was my original. And so I'm using the same package of paper, Celebratory Sips. This was another floral pattern they had, and it reversed over to this Timid Tiger. So there's my pieces there. I didn't use any two-tone paper on this one, and it opens like that. And there's another piece that was cut off on the bottom of the paper. Don't throw them away. You can always use them. This one was done on old olive paper, and there's my envelope for that one. So they're both very different, but really cute. I really liked how they turned out. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I didn't mention my card kit to go for September. is using the beautiful gallery paper, which is, if you haven't seen it, it is gorgeous. So these are the 4 cards. And lots of fun, lots of different, I've chosen 4 different papers to use. Fun folds. This is a fun fold. This is a fun fold. Looks like that. This is a fun fold using the Arches dies. And this is using the Damask folder. So beautiful paper, beautiful cards. Of course, the greetings are, I can't do any stamping for you. You would get all of the pieces to make these cards, and envelopes, 4 envelopes for them, and all the ribbon, all the embellishments, and I would even do the embossing for you. This is the Damask folder. I actually used the, what's it called? Plaster painting 3D folder on this, and it really looks like a painting. And that folder is in the last chance list. All right, so those are the 4 cards. If you're interested in those, please contact me, either my email or through my website, and I'll get those off to you. The cost is $15 if you're able to pick them up, if you live in my area, and if not, I add $5 shipping to go anywhere across Canada. I cannot ship them outside of Canada though. All right, bring those cards back from today. There's the 2 cards. I hope you enjoyed that. I really appreciate your thumbs up, and I really appreciate your comments, and I try to get back to you if you've made some kind of a comment on my videos. Thanks for watching. I hope everybody has a great week.